नमस्ते। आप सब आयुर्वेद नेटवर्क के दर्शकों को मेरा हार्दिक अभिवादन और अभिनंदन। I wish and I greet all learned viewers of the Ayurveda network. It's really contributing in the propagation of the knowledge of Ayurveda in all disciplines. So this is the third and final interaction with you all about the scientific supremacy of our Rasacharyas. Just I quoted one example, formulations made by the Parad and Gandhak, that is the Kajjali, Rasa-Parpati, Rasa-Pottali and Kupipa. And as I suggested you that in the final interaction with you all, I shall be with the very, very recognized and the prominent, eminent scientific evidences in the support of knowledge of all our Rasacharyas. How the nowadays science is revealing and establishing the facts what they imagine back thousands of years without any such an advanced sophisticated technology, but just by going through their observations, their observation and the experiences, and they invented so many things which is being answered by at the moment by the all these core scientists. Okay friends, just to remind you, we have discussed that from Kajjali to Rasa-Parpati, Rasa-Pottali and the Kupipakoras, Rasa-Sindoor, there are the difference in the technology of the supply of the heat, and that supply of the heat and some other physical modifications are responsible for the making of the some final product, and all are nearer to the HGS in all the four formats, namely the Kajjali, Rasa-Parpati, Rasa-Pottali and the Rasa-Sindoor, but the difference is there in the inner structural configuration, and that inner structural configuration is responsible for their different therapeutic efficacy. Fine. Now we start. Should I start with a negative note? Okay, I am starting with a negative note. Back 2007, the All India Ayurveda Maha Congress, the organization which is working in the field of Ayurveda, almost they have completed more than 100 years. It was established in the 1907, and its centenary year celebrations in 2007, All India Ayurveda Maha Sammelan organized a centenary celebration at Chandigarh. The then Honorable President of the Union Republic of India, Her Excellency Pratibha Patil, was the chief guest inaugurating the session. The brochure of the Congress, which was being circulated prior 6 months to this event, having a lot of inputs in the theme, scientific inputs, what they are going to discuss on that particular day. I'm just forgetting the exact date. I apologize for this. I saw in their brochure Rasa-Aushadhiyan, Rasa-Sindoor, and it was given the chemical formula HGO. I repeat, HGO. Once again, I am feeling sorry that I can't use blackboard, but just for 1 month more. there is the HGO, and it is being circulated. It came to my knowledge. I myself gone through it because they are publishing one magazine or people say journal also, Ayurved Mahasammelan Patrika monthly without any interruption, and really sometimes contains very good write-ups by leading authorities. Friends, then I thought to represent it to the All India Ayurved Congress. It is wrong, factually wrong. Rasa-Sindoor is never HGO. Then I represented to the President All India Ayurved Congress, supported by representation with the three publications of the Banaras Hindu University establishing that final product is the HGS. Three published scientific papers from the IPGTR Jamnagar, because I was there from 2000 to 2006. Then I was knowing the work going on. Then three published papers from there supporting that final Rasa-Sindoor is the HGS, and three from the Banaras Hindu University supporting the fact that the final Rasa-Sindoor is the HGS, established by the sophisticated investigational tools in the different reputed laboratories, and a lot of more evidences. Then it was, up to my surprise, in the final brochure of the All India Ayurved Congress, the final brochure changed it from HGO to HGS. And then I feel satisfied. Okay, wrong message is not going on. I hope you are thinking of how All India Ayurved Congress in a centenary year celebrations just put it HGO. There must be some base. Yes, there was base. One scientist, neither I am going to tell you the place, neither I am going to tell his name, but in his findings, he reported that Rasa-Sindoor is HGO. And he is near dear to someone there in Ayurveda Congress, and they just taken him as a great scientist. वो होता है ना कि अब तो नहीं, लेकिन हाँ उस जमाने में 90s, last decade 1990, any scientist is speaking something, so we all Ayurvedists are mesmerizing. This is. Now it is not true nowadays. We are knowing enough science to understand science. We means we all are Ayurvedists. Yeah, good. I said we know science to understand. We know enough science to understand science in Ayurveda with the help of those people. When they are making any statement and when they are explaining science to us, we are knowing that much science. We may understand the science. Fine, good. But that time it was not. What a scientist said, that is the final. So they accepted it as GO. But when I protested in my academic spirituality with all the evidences, 6 papers, then I appreciate All India Ayurved Congress executives who changed it in the final brochure. One thing more, I am sharing just in a light note. In 2007, when I prepared this, at that moment I was assistant professor in Banaras University, got transferred from Jamnagar to BHU, and I was doing this job, and I went to the then dean of the faculty of Ayurveda for her forwardness. Madam, please forward it. It will be more authentic in the eyes of the executives. And this is the issue, and these are the supportive documents. Because I was thinking I am a government servant, autonomous body, and then I should write or not write, I should protest or not protest. Because even in the Jamnagar, when I protested about the stability profile, the then secretary of the Department of Ayush, I was true, I was proven true. And then government kept in abeyance, and then notification of the 2005 was kept in abeyance, and then it was again notified in 2009 after the proper researches. My all friends who were at that time in my PG and the PhD interactions, they remember, I hope so, कि I sat in my classroom कि 5 लोग बैठे और उन्होंने आंख बंद की और ध्यान लगाया और कहा कि ये चूर्ण की संविलिता अवधि होगी, ये अवलेय की संविलिता अवधि होगी, ये रस-सिंदूर की संविलिता अवधि होगी। आत्मज्ञान से उन्होंने अब तो उपदेश कर दिया। मैं उनके नाम नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि मुझे अभी मैं असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हूं, मुझे प्रोफेसर तक की जर्नी पूरा करनी है और वही लोग मेरा इंटरव्यू लेंगे, राइट। ये हम लोगों को सिखाया गया है कि जब भी आप क्लास लें, हम जामनगर में थे तो मुंबई भेजे गए थे कि हर 20 मिनट के बाद थोड़ा 20 सेकंड स्टूडेंट्स को थोड़ा लाइटर मोड में ले जाइए। तो यहाँ यही से, तो वहां भी हमको बुलाया गया और कहा गया कि आप डायरेक्ट गवर्नमेंट को नहीं लिख सकते। ठीक है, माई बाप गलती हुई, आगे से आपके थ्रू लिखा करेंगे। चलिए साहब, हम यहाँ आए और वही अनुभव मेरे साथ था बीएचयू का। आई जस्ट पुट माई पेपर्स बिफोर माई डीन फॉर द फॉरवर्डनेस. She denied. No. Then I thought what to do. Then I write a letter. I wrote a letter to our administration of the Banaras University, asking them whether I should write all these representations which are academic in nature outside university to the different government bodies or private bodies. Is it possible for me? And it has encouraged me that I got a communique from assistant registrar admin teaching that except your service matter, you can write anyone on the academic matters because you are university teacher and you have been privileged to write, to criticize, to suggest government policies at the forum where you wish and where you want. क्या कहना था फिर? I just forwarded all my letters to the Ministry, Department of Ayush of that time, and the All India Ayurveda Congress, both altogether. And HGO was replaced in the next brochure, that is the HGS. Fine. Now this HGS has been confirmed by every angle. And see, the first one is here. The preparation and characterization of a Mercury-based Indian traditional drug, Rasa-Sindoor. And this publication is from the Department of Physics, Banaras University in 2009. And first author is here Dr. S.K. Singh, who is nowadays in the IIT BHU in the Department of Applied Physics, Associate Professor. Friends, you will be happy to knowing that he is a scholar of the physics, and he opted for his PhD dissertation, this Rasa-Sindoor, and I was his co-guide. This is the academic excellence of the Banaras Hindu University. I was his co-guide. He was MSc Physics, and his guide Professor S.B. Rai, and his mentor Professor D.K. Rai was an expert in the spectroscopy and all these X-rays. So see, I just got this, and preparation and the characterization of a Mercury-based Indian traditional drug. And here this full paper was published into the Indian Journal of Traditional Knowledge, and it is the July 1, 2009, volume 8. And this paper published, if you can see, I just regret all these inconvenience, because I am speaking from my home, not the Ayurveda network station and the cabin is in the Banaras Hindu University. I shall be from there also when I shall be fully healthy. So these limitations are going on. So see these charts and the findings where authors, I mean Professor Singh and we all established that Rasa-Sindoor is HGS. It is the 2009. Now come to the next one. This publication. It is the yes. This paper is also from Banaras Hindu University, and it is 2013, published into the current science. That is the Ayurvedic Amlaki Rasayan and the Rasa-Sindoor suppress neurodegenerative in fly models of the Huntington and the Alzheimer disease by the Bibha Dwivedi, Vipin Tripathi, and by Professor S.C. Lakhotia, 2013. One more paper was published by the same group in the +1, and this paper from the Center of Excellence of the Geology of the UGC really made some very thing. Yes, this is now it is on yours. You can see in vivo effects of traditional Ayurvedic formulation, Drosophila melanogaster model related with the therapeutic applications. The same group, yes, this is the +1, and period of publication was here. It is the 2012. So till 2009 we established the structure, and in the 2012 and the 2013 we worked out on its efficacy. And Professor S.C. Lakhotia lab is the one of the most prestigious lab in our country and abroad about the neurological findings, and they had worked out it. And yes, it's the fate of a scholar is Dr. Viva is now in Germany, and she is also in the teaching profession. So these people, and she is the core MSc geology. But they did it all this job, and if you go through all these publications, they are just showing in the +1. See, this paper was so nicely written. Yeah, I remember Professor M.S. Baghel quoted it into an international seminar as a best paper in Gandhinagar. I was also there, and he was delivering lectures on the research, and he quoted this paper. You must go through this paper of the Bibha Dwivedi in the +1. See all these scientific findings, and they are suggesting that this Rasa-Sindoor is not toxic. So friends, here are the two papers, the paper of the +1 and the paper of the current science, establishing it. Now once again I am inviting your attention to this. It is a paper published into the 2017, Mercury based drugs in ancient India, the red sulfide of mercury in nanoscale, and this was published into the JIM, Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicines. Here I must take two papers. This one also. Just see. Investigating structural aspect to understand the putative claimed non-toxicity of the HT based Ayurvedic drug Rasa-Sindoor under XAFS by the Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Trombay. See this one. These two papers. This paper is published into the crystallography journals of the IUCR journal, and specifically the journal of synchrotron radiation. See, this is. Kindly Google it when you are listening me, and you can put these two papers at one place. This is the journal of synchrotron radiation, and author is here Nitya Ramanan, investigating structural aspect to understand the putative claimed non-toxicity to the Hg-based Ayurvedic drugs Rasa-Sindoor using XAPS, and it was published into the 2015, and this paper is the 2017. What is the relation of these two papers? One is here, this is from the School of Basic Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur and the Bhubaneswar. Two names are common in both papers. That was from the Trombay, Bhabha Atomic Research Center in the 2015, and 2017 it is the IIT Kharagpur and the IIT Bhubaneswar. You may ask me, so what is the combination of these two? Yes, these are not working on the 2015 or the 2016. My dear friends, 100% you are knowing about the Professor M.S. Valyathan, the writer of the Legacy of Ayurveda, Charak, the Legacy of the Susut, the Legacy of the Vagbhat, and the National Research Professor. He initiated a program, a science initiative in Ayurveda, and he just propelled out the 8 projects total on the Prakriti and the Siddhant and the many more. And there was one project on the Kupi Pakoras out of that. And fortunately, my good luck, I was a member of the monitoring committee of that project. And this project went to the Arya Vaidyashala Kottakkal. See here, T.S. Muralidharan and A. Arun. I must tell you, and you certainly heard the name of the A. Arun in my second intercession. He was my co-learner in his M. Pharma Ayurveda dissertation. He is modern B. Pharma, but at that moment there was beginning of the M. Pharma Ayurveda course, and Jamnagar was enough kind to take the B. Pharma modern also. And Arun is one of the best co-learner I had in this my 23 year of the professional life. He proposed and he prepared Arun that 7-hour, 8-hour Rasa-Sindoor and the 24-hour Rasa-Sindoor and the 72-hour Rasa-Sindoor and the 1 week Rasa-Sindoor all together, I and Arun. This is not my self-appreciation. This is the appreciation, whole appreciation to Arun, who is nowadays manager in the Mysore, the production manager, dealing a very high quality production in the Ayurveda Rasa-Pottali. All are my friends there. Muralidharan, we talk oftenly. So this project of the Department of Science Technology dealt with the principal scientific advisor to the government of Prime Minister, PSA to the Prime Minister, and certainly it's a very high-fi project. And so here IIT is involved. So here Bhabha Atomic Research Center is involved. And what they are saying after this introduction, yes, they are saying what our ancestors did. If you see this paper, here is a very clear finding that Kajjali is beta HGS and having less stability, whereas Rasa-Sindoor is alpha HGS, having the better stability. They are talking about the nanometer size of the Rasa-Sindoor, which is in the higher side. They are talking about the nanomicrometer size of the Kajjali, that is on the another side. What I wish to say, what I mean to say here before you, the simple, that knowledge of the Rasacharyas of the 1,000 years back is now being established into this 2015 and 17 by IITs and the Bhabha Atomic Research Center. See this abstract, and is in this abstract they are noting it very clearly about this paper of the on the this is about the safety mainly, and they said that the physical chemical character, it is concluded that the Rasindoor is chemically pure alpha HGS, pure alpha HGS in the ratio of the 1:1. Analysis of the Rasindoor by transmission electron microscopy (TEM) showed that the particles are in nanoscale. Biochemical studies of the Rasindoor were also demonstrated it interacts with the bovine serum albumin BSA with an association constant of the 9.6% and has its protease inhibitor by inhibiting the proteolysis of the BSA by trypsin. It also shows that mild antioxidant properties. रसायन कर्म रसिंदूर के लिए. Fine. I am coming to the another more very good paper. Yes. See here. This is once again in the JIM. Explaining Ayurveda preparation of Rasindoor, its toxicological effect on NIH3T3 cell line and zebrafish larvae, a paper from the IIT Mumbai and published in the 2022 last year. But before coming to this paper, I wish to address this paper also published into the IU in the 2018. That is the pharmaceutical analytical study of Samaguna, Diviguna and Sadguna Parijarit Rasindoor by P. Rishikesh and N.M. Harsar, Department of Research and Research Kalpana, JS Ayurved Medical College, Mysore, Karnataka. I appreciate Rishikesh by this paper. See, I said you, the multiplication of the sulfur is having some effect, and this was published into the IU, published by the Jamnagar, ITRA Jamnagar. And see here what he is talking. Just I am reading, and you must go through this paper. And if you, I do believe everyone will getting link, and everyone will getting, everyone is having the everything what they want. You can search it very well. If not, just message me. I shall provide you full paper. The Rasindoor is a Kupi which is very popular and widely used. And yes, I am just coming to the material method. Samagun, Divigun, and Sadgun Balijarit Rasindoor were prepared as per classical reference, and the samples were subjected to XRD and FTIR. The duration of the trituration for the preparation of Samagun, Divigun, and the Sadgun was 70, 40, 24 hours respectively. See the changes as in the line of the Arun. We could not able to publish it because that time the period was 2001-2002, and Arun has to join, but Arun has utilized all his knowledge in this project of the a scientific initiative in Ayurveda regarding the Kupi and was 16, 16 and the 19 hours respectively, and FTIR spectrum revealed the decrease of unsaturated carbon and exchangeable proton as the proportion of the sulfur increased in the preparation. Yes, when the sulfur proportion is increased, Samguna, Devguna, Sadguna, Balijari, then the same way some other researches are in pipeline, and when the result will be out, I shall address all that in the coming series. And see here all the data. See here all the data of this paper, and they establish the fact. Now, finally, I am coming to the paper of last year supporting the super scientific knowledge of the Rasacharyas of the 2000, 1980 or 880, 1180, like that. And see here, explaining Ayurvedic preparation of Rasindoor, its toxicological effect on NIS3T cell line and zebrafish from the IIT Mumbai. I am very happy to share all these research workers are We are in our collaboration, all are our good collaborator and also good personal friends. Whatever the paper I am quoting before you, and specifically with the Jayashree Bellare sir, I have a good interaction. And recently we met into the World Ayurveda Congress Goa, as well as one more platform in the discussions regarding that. Many platforms we have met in the ITRC Lucknow. Once again, my dear friends, I'm not appreciating myself. I'm very clear about it. I'm appreciating Belarus. Being an IITian, and he is giving such a good time, and his lab is being utilized for the Ayurvedic researches. This is my focus. This is what I wish to say. Yes, in due course of interaction, we are having very good scientific interactions every time. So here, see what this paper is saying. Just I am going through the abstract, and I hope you will go through the whole paper. And in abstract also, I am just coming to the main criteria. Here in the present study, we characterize Rasa-Sindoor and one of its intermediate Kajjali to understand the physicochemical changes that occurs in the Ayurvedic processes. Yes. Furthermore, we have assessed the toxicity of Kajjali and Rasa-Sindoor in NIH3T3 cell lines and zebrafish larvae. XRD analysis of the Rasa-Sindoor confirm it is a highly pure alpha HGS. Right from our findings of the 2001-2 in the dissertation of the Pharma IU of the Arun to this 2022 publication by the IIT Mumbai, moving through the Trombay, moving across the IIT Kharagpur and the Bhubaneswar, and all researchers of the Jamnagar, I can say Sanjay, Shraddha, many more. Who is getting investigations of the Rasa-Sindoor? It is the HGS, including the Vibha of the Center of Excellence of the Department of Geology, and 2009 first investigation structural study by Dr. S.K. Singh, who is in the nowadays in the IIT BHU. So everyone is having one opinion, that is alpha HGS is the final structure of the Rasa-Sindoor. I don't know from where someone got HGO. Anyhow, so and Kajjali is a beta HGS having lower size range, strength starting this see, sorry, it is highly pure alpha HGS with the size range from nano to micro, that is the minus 89 m, and whereas Kajjali is the beta HGS having lower size range minus 30 nm. Rasa-Sindoor did not show significant cytotoxicity on this NIS33 cell line up to the 75 ppm. Same is the Kajjali, which was little bit cytotoxicity was observed, and you can understand why. That is the bond strength and like that, where I have invited your attention. These pattern of the bonding of the mercury and sulfur is responsible for its all effects, pharmacological, pathological, pharmacological, therapeutic. Why not physiological? Physiological too. In the normalcy, if there is the antioxidant, yes, of course, it is promoting that promotion of the health also, Makardhwaj. So let us move forward. Any toxicity of morphological changes. This study concludes that Rasa-Sindoor is not toxic up to the reasonable concentration. Yes, reasonable concentration. I am inviting from the first interaction, the dose and duration of the Rasa-Pottali. These are most vital point. Further, these two drugs did not contain toxic organic mercury compounds. Otherwise, it could have been lethal to the zebrafish larvae. And see all these findings, what Dr. Jayashree Bellare and his team is giving to us, a contribution to the Ayurveda, scientific Ayurveda. See here, as per the concepts of the Professor M.S. Valyathan, that a scientific initiative in Ayurveda. This paper is not part of that project. It is a separate project, and I know who sponsored this subject. I should quote the name of the company. It is the Sri Dhut Papeshwar Limited, which sponsored this project because they are the very genuine, justified, quality assured preparations of the rasa of Sattis. This project was sponsored by Dudh Papeshwar Limited, whereas the publications of the 2015 and 17 by the IIT Kharagpur in the Kanpur and the Bhabha Atomic Research Centers of the projects of the Government of India, carried out by the Ayurveda Sala Kottakkal as an project nodal agency, but sponsored by the Government of India, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister of India. Dr. R. Chidambaram was at that time advisor, and when I attended meetings in the Vigyan Bhavan of the monitoring committee, I was really encouraged, very much encouraged in the presence of the Professor M.S. Valiathan and the other Professor Dr. R. Chidambaram and many more. And when they were discussing the Rasa-Sindoor and the Ayurveda, and Dr. Ketki Bapat, I should name her, the senior scientist there, she is also very Ayurveda promoting personality and taking care of all these researches from that highest office of the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister of India. My dear friends, in the end, of course, Ayurveda Network is really doing something which is amazing, highly appreciable. I'm thankful to the UGC as well as the Ministry of Ayush for carrying out such kind of the project. But before thanking to all my friends, one more thing I wish to share here with you in this series of the Parat Gandhar, Mercury Sulfur, Kajjali, Rasa-Sindoor, Rasa-Parpati, and Kajjali, Rasa-Parpati, Rasa-Pottali, Rasa-Sindoor. See, the Chinese are also using the same in the same form, and they are more or less preparing it in the same way. And they had worked a lot before us, back 10 years, 15 years, I can say 15 years. And in Siddha also, they are also preparing the Sindoor and they call it Linga Chinduram. I should quote two papers more here. One is by the Ling Chinduram by the Dr. G. Gangadhar. I met him also in the task force related to the Mercury. It was formed in 2020 in the chairmanship of Professor S. S. Savarkar sir. But Jai Ho Corona ki, everything is in the Corona wave. So, but that Government of India has created a task force to address the issues of the Mercury ban. And Dr. Gangadharan was also their member. Professor S. S. Savarkar, the former Vice Chancellor of the Gujarat Ayurveda University, and known signatory, signature in the field of, not signatory, signature in the field of Rasastra, and my teacher. See, Dr. Gangadharan had published a paper in Indian Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences back 2002. Indian Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences, a journal of allopathy. And he published there and he showed there that this Linga Chinduram or Rasa-Sindoor is absorbable at the tissue level. बहुत सारे लोग बोलते थे it is Sannikar's Prabhav, Mercury is not absorbed, it is Sannikar's Prabhav. But Dr. Gangadharan established, and nowadays there are many more. But Dr. Gangadharan was the first, I hope so. He established that it is available in the liver tissue, it is available in the spleen tissue, and being washed out in the proper excretory manner. Go through the paper of the IJ, published Dr. G. Gangadharan about the Ling Chinduram, and it is in the IJPS. I can search it, but just it came in my mind few minutes back, so I am putting it. And one paper certainly strike me, I should share with you, and you can search and send me on PDF. Many of you are knowing my number, I do believe. So, a paper published by the Chinese, really important. I'm emphasizing it, really important. Get that paper. I have in my repository, but in the lack of time, I'm unable to get it right now. They published that in human microbiota, in human gut microbiota, no microbes are capable or existing which may convert, listen one by word, which may convert these inorganic mercurial compound HGS into the organic methyl compound of the mercury. Because many people raise this question, okay, you are administering inorganic, inorganic mercury sulfide, but do you sure, are you assuring that in the human physiology it will not be converted into the organic compound of the mercury? Because there is a lot of changes to each and every substance which when it enters into the human body and cross across the human physiology. And these Chinese established through the paper of the collaboration with the USA laboratories. They did a lot of collaboration with the USA laboratories, published in the RPMent, published on the Realgar, published on the Cinebar, anything. And they showed this paper. Really, I used in my PhD interactions, and I hope my all core learners are remembering if they are, if you are listening me on this platform of the Ayurveda network, because the teachers are also listening. All are nowadays principal. Very few are the teacher. All my co-learners of the Jamnagar are now at Part-2 the principals in the different offices of their respective state. Finally, that paper of the TCM in the collaboration with the American laboratories, I'm unable to quote the name of the author, I'm sorry for it, because it just struck in my mind few seconds back that they published that none of the microbes of the human gut microbiome is capable to change this inorganic mercurial medicinal compound to the toxic organic mercurial compound. With this, I take your permission to just adjourn this discussion, not end the discussion, just adjourn this discussion on the mercurial medicines for a few time. Findings, certainly some very good findings will be available after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and we will add all these things into the knowledge of every stakeholders of the Ayurveda. If Ayurveda network will permit me, I shall before you when I shall be fully healthy and going on the board. I think of in the month of August and onward, I shall be with you. And before end, I am very much thankful to the Professor Kishore Patwardhan, Professor Manoj Kumar, Professor Murthy for giving me this opportunity to interact with you on the points which are always in my mind and in my heart. And one person must be thanked, and the person is Mr. Anubhav Pandey, who is technically expert and taking care of the whole scenario of the Ayurveda network, guiding us. ऐसे बैठिए, ऐसे दिखिए, ये वाला पोर्शन बढ़िया आएगा. So a team is working in Ayurveda network, and with the help of that team, I am before you, waiting for your questions, waiting for your suggestions. Kindly encourage me by putting a tough question. Question is must. Question is must for everyone. Thank you. Namaste. Abhinandan. Abhivadan.